Hello everyone, this is Ashley Tucker. Thank you for joining me today. I have a cute Christmas card to share with you today featuring some cat stamps from a My Favorite Things stamp set. As soon as I saw this stamp set, I wanted to use it. Every time I see a cat stamp set, I've got to use it, so I decided to put together this simple little Christmas card. This background die that I'm using is called the Snow Swirls Cover-Up Die, and the paper that I chose is Blue Beyond cardstock from My Favorite Things, which is this really beautiful deep blue color. Alright, so I set that panel aside for now, and I pulled out the Cool Cats stamp set from My Favorite Things. This is the stamp set with the cats that I was talking about. I picked out 4 of the cats from the set, put them in my MISTI, stamped them with some Copic friendly ink onto some Neenah Classic Crest Solar White cardstock, and then I got into the coloring. A couple of tips that I have for if you're struggling coming up with colors for your cats, or even if you are coloring dogs and you can't come up with colors, just look at some real dogs or cats and try to copy the coloring on them. So you can look at your own pets, or you can look at friends or family's pets and try to kind of copy the coloring on those pets to make your cats or dogs look like them. If you don't have any pets in your personal life, you could always Google images of cats and dogs and try to copy the coloring on them. Now, I do know that some people might find the idea of trying to look at a real animal and translate those colors into marker choices on a piece of paper a little bit intimidating. So I recommend, if that seems a little bit too difficult, maybe Google cartoon cats and try to copy the coloring that you see on different cartoon cats, because that can sometimes be a little bit easier. If you have any questions about the coloring, please feel free to ask me down in the comments below. I do have the marker caps off to the side so that you can see all the colors that I'm using for these cats and for their accessories. For now, I am going to turn some music on so that you can relax and enjoy the rest of the coloring. If watching coloring isn't your thing and you'd rather skip ahead, please feel free to do so. When the coloring was done, I used the coordinating dies to die cut each of these out, and then I pulled that background panel out again. Now I want this to be just a little bit smaller, so I decided to take a 1/4 inch off of each of the 4 sides. I've been using a lot of blue in my Christmas cards this year. I tend to get into kind of color habits where I use a lot of the same color for a while, and right now that color is blue. So because I'm really into the color blue right now, I decided to add even more blue to this card by taking an A2 size panel of something blue cardstock from My Favorite Things and adhering it on to my card base. I then took my Snow Swirls background and I added a bunch of foam tape on the back of that, and I'm going to pop that up right in the middle so that I have a nice light blue border around the edge. Now, the Cool Cats stamp set doesn't have any Christmas-themed sentiments in it, and I really wanted this to be a Christmas card. So I decided to pull out a different stamp set, which is also from My Favorite Things, called Meowy Christmas. And it actually has a sentiment in it that says Meowy Christmas. So I stamped that with Versafine Onyx Black ink onto some Neenah cardstock, and then I used a skinny ribbon strip die to cut that out. I used foam tape to pop that sentiment up right in the center of my card, and then I also popped up all 4 of my cats around the sentiment. For my embellishments, I pulled out a bunch of different colors of half pearls, kind of going with rainbow colors like I have on the cats' accessories, and I also used some clear raindrop embellishments. Now, I don't think that these exact embellishments are available to buy anymore, but you can definitely find something similar on Simon Says Stamp. Another thing that you could use instead of these half pearls is little colorful pom-poms. I think that that would be really cute. I honestly just thought of that while I was doing this voiceover, and now I'm like, why didn't I do that? Anyways, I used my white gel pen and I added some highlights and details to all of the cats, and I think that this really takes the coloring to the next level. And I'm not really paying attention to where the highlights should be. I'm not paying attention to a light source. I'm just kind of putting them wherever I feel like. I'm just kind of making sure that they stay along the edges. While I had my white gel pen out, I decided to add a dashed line border around the edge of the darker blue cardstock. This was a little bit difficult in certain areas because of the texture of the stitching, but I did manage to go all the way around and have it look pretty good. And then the last thing that I did was I took my Wink of Stella glitter brush and I went over that sentiment, and then this card was all done. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you really enjoyed this card design and that it gave you some ideas for your own Christmas cards. If you are interested in any of the products that I used on this card, I will have links down in the description. As always, I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next time.